First contact. The massive space station loomed before John Chen's shuttle, a gleaming beacon of interstellar cooperation. As the small craft drew closer, John's heart raced with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. After years of training and preparation, he was about to become one of the first humans to set foot on an alien space station. Shuttle Alpha 7, you are cleared for docking. A melodious voice crackled over the comm. Welcome to Nexus Station. John took a deep breath, steadying his nerves. Copy that, Nexus Control. Beginning docking sequence. As he guided the shuttle into the docking bay, John marveled at the sleek, organic curves of the alien architecture. It was so different from the utilitarian designs of Earth's space stations. The shuttle settled into place with a soft thunk, and John began the post-flight checklist with practiced efficiency. When he finally stepped out of the airlock, John's first impression was one of controlled chaos. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and colors bustled about the docking bay. Some were vaguely humanoid, while others defied easy description. The air was filled with a cacophony of unfamiliar languages and scents. A tall, willowy figure approached, skin shimmering with an iridescent blue hue. John's breath caught in his throat as he took in the alien's delicate features and luminous eyes. "Greetings, Dr. Chen," the alien said, voice musical and soothing. "I am Zara, Chief Medical Officer of Nexus Station. Welcome aboard." John extended his hand, then quickly withdrew it, unsure of the proper greeting protocol. "Thank you, Zara. It's an honor to be here." Zara's lips curved in what John hoped was a smile. "The honor is ours. Your expertise in xenobiology will be invaluable to our research team." As Zara led him through the station's winding corridors, John found himself captivated by the aliens' graceful movements and the subtle play of colors across their skin. He forced himself to focus on Zara's words as they discussed the station's layout and protocols. "Your quarters are in the human habitation sector," Zara explained, gesturing to a holomap. "But you'll spend most of your time in the medical bay and research labs." John nodded, trying to absorb the overwhelming amount of information. "I'm eager to get started. The potential for medical breakthroughs with so many species working together is incredible." Zara's eyes seemed to sparkle with enthusiasm. "Indeed, your arrival couldn't have come at a better time. We've been experiencing some unusual occurrences lately." Before John could inquire further, a violent tremor shook the station. Alarms blared as the lights flickered ominously. "What was that?" John gasped, steadying himself against a wall. Zara's expression darkened. "One of the unusual occurrences I mentioned. Come, we must get to the medical bay. Your first day may be more eventful than anticipated, Dr. Chen." As they raced through the corridors, John's mind whirled with possibilities. What had he gotten himself into? The tremors continued, each one seeming more violent than the last. Crew members of various species rushed past, some injured, others shouting orders in languages his universal translator struggled to keep up with. They burst into the medical bay to find it already overflowing with patients. Zara immediately took charge, barking orders to the multilingual staff. John stood for a moment, overwhelmed by the alien technology and unfamiliar anatomy of the patients. "Dr. Chen," Zara called out, "we need your help with the human patients, Station 3. Grateful for a familiar task, John hurried to the indicated biote. A young woman lay there, clutching her arm, which was bent at an unnatural angle. "I'm Dr. Chen," he said soothingly. "What's your name?" "Sarah," she gasped through gritted teeth. "What's happening?" "I'm not sure," John admitted as he began examining her injury. "But we're going to take care of you, okay?" As he worked to set Sarah's broken arm, John's training kicked in. The chaos of the medical bay faded into the background as he focused on his patient. He barely noticed when the tremors finally subsided, his attention fully on the task at hand. It wasn't until he finished treating Sarah that John looked up and realized hours had passed. The medical bay was quieter now, though still bustling with activity. He spotted Zara across the room, their blue skin now pale and drawn with exhaustion. John made his way over to the alien doctor. "Is there anything else I can do to help?" Zara's luminous eyes met his, filled with a mix of gratitude and worry. "You've already done so much, Dr. Chen. Thank you." "Please call me John," he said, surprised by the warmth in his voice. "John," Zara repeated, the name sounding exotic in their musical tones. "You performed admirably under pressure. I'm glad you're here." A comfortable silence fell between them as they surveyed the medical bay. John felt a strange sense of belonging, as if he'd found his place in this alien world. "What caused all this?" he finally asked. "You mentioned unusual occurrences before." Zara sighed, a sound tinged with frustration and something John couldn't quite identify. "We're not sure. The station has been experiencing random malfunctions for weeks now. Power fluctuations, gravity anomalies, and now these tremors. Our engineers can't find the cause." Joan frowned. "Could it be some kind of sabotage?" "We've considered that possibility," Zara admitted, "but there's no evidence of foul play. It's as if the station itself is rebelling against us." Before John could respond, another alarm blazed through the medical bay. Zara's skin rippled with colors John hadn't seen before, and they clutched at their abdomen with a pained expression. "Zara, what's wrong?" John asked, concern flooding his voice. The alien doctor's eyes widened in what looked like panic. "No, not now. It's too soon." "What's too soon?" "Talk to me, Zara," John urged, reaching out to steady his new colleague. Zara's luminous eyes locked onto John's, filled with a mix of fear and something else, something primal. "My mating cycle," they gasped. "It's beginning, but it's months early. This has never happened before." John's mind raced. He'd studied alien physiology, but the intricacies of Zara's species' reproductive cycle was still largely unknown to humans. "What can I do? How can I help?" Zara shook their head, backing away. "You can't. I need to get to my quarters. It's not safe for me to be around others right now." As Zara turned to leave, another tremor rocked the station. The alien doctor stumbled, and John instinctively reached out to catch them. The moment their skin touched, an electric current seemed to pass between them. John gasped at the intensity of the sensation. Zara's eyes met his, wide with surprise and a hunger that made John's heart race. "John," they whispered, voice husky and urgent, I think you've triggered something in me." The implications of Zara's words hit John like a physical blow. He was suddenly acutely aware of the alien's proximity, the intoxicating scent that seemed to emanate from their shimmering skin. Every instinct told him to pull Zara closer, to give in to the growing desire he'd been trying to ignore since they first met. But the rational part of his mind screamed caution. They barely knew each other, and the situation was far too complicated. Plus, there were more pressing matters at hand. The station was still in crisis. "We need to focus on the station," John said, his voice strained. "People could be hurt. We have responsibilities." Zara nodded, visibly struggling to regain composure. "You're right. But John, this isn't over. We'll need to address it soon." As they turned their attention back to the chaos of the medical bay, John couldn't shake the feeling that his life had just become far more complicated and far more exciting than he ever could have imagined. Little did he know, the adventure was only just beginning. Its xenomorphic resonance. The days following the station's violent tremors were a whirlwind of activity for John. Between treating patients, analyzing mysterious malfunctions, and trying to ignore the growing tension between him and Zara, he barely had time to process the strangeness of his new reality. As John entered the research lab one morning, he found Zara hunched over a holographic display, their bioluminescent skin pulsing with agitation. "Zara, what's wrong?" he asked, concern evident in his voice. The alien doctor looked up, their multifaceted eyes reflecting a mix of frustration and intrigue. "John, look at this," they said, gesturing to the swirling data before them. "I've been analyzing the station's quantum harmonic frequencies, and there's something bizarre happening." John peered at the display, his brow furrowing as he tried to make sense of the alien algorithms. What am I looking at? These spikes, Zara explained, pointing to irregular patterns in the data. They correspond perfectly with the station's malfunctions. But that's not the strangest part. They tapped a few commands, and a new set of data overlaid the first. This is my own biohazmic signature. John's eyes widened as he saw the unmistakable correlation. They're in sync, he breathed. But how is that possible? Zara's skin rippled with a kaleidoscope of colors, a sign John had come to associate with intense emotion. I don't know, but I think it might be related to my premature mating cycle. Something on this station is resonating with my biology on a quantum level. The implications were staggering. John's mind raced with possibilities, each more fantastic than the last. Could this be affecting other species too? Maybe that's why we've seen an uptick in medical emergencies. Before Zara could respond, the lab's door hissed open. A towering insectoid alien John recognized as Chief Engineer Kovex clicked into the room, their mandibles twitching with agitation. Doctors, Kovex chittered, we have a situation in the hydroponics bay. The plants, they're evolving at an impossible rate. John and Zara exchanged a worried glance before following Kovex through the station's winding corridors. As they approached the hydroponics bay, John could hear a cacophony of shouts and the unsettling sound of creaking metal. The door slid open to reveal a scene of utter chaos. The once orderly rows of alien flora had transformed into a writhing jungle of bioluminescent tendrils and pulsating pods. Station crew members of various species were frantically trying to contain the growth, but the plants seemed to react to their very presence, reaching out with questing vines. By the cosmic void, Zara gasped, their skin paling to a ghostly blue. This is unprecedented. John's scientific curiosity warred with his sense of caution. We need to quarantine this area immediately, he said, already moving to the environmental controls. Kovex, can you initiate a Level 3 containment field? The insectoid engineer clicked in affirmation and scuttled to a nearby console. As the shimmering barrier sprang to life around the bay, John turned to Zara. We need samples. If this is connected to the station's malfunctions and your condition, we need to study it. Zara nodded, their eyes gleaming with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Agreed, but we must be careful. Who knows what other effects this phenomenon might have? As they donned protective suits and prepared to enter the transformed hydroponics bay, John couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of a discovery that would change the course of interstellar science forever. Little did he know, the true nature of the xenomorphic resonance would test not only his scientific acumen, but also the very limits of his humanity. Inside the containment field, the air thrummed with an otherworldly energy. John and Zara moved cautiously through the alien undergrowth, their senses whirring as they collected data on the rapidly evolving flora. These plants, John marveled, examining a pulsating pod, they're not just growing faster. They're developing entirely new structures, almost like neural networks. Zara's multifaceted eyes widened. You're right. It's as if they're developing a rudimentary consciousness. But how? Their words were cut short as a vine suddenly lashed out, wrapping itself around Zara's wrist. The alien doctor let out a startled cry, their skin flashing a brilliant array of colors. Zara, John shouted, rushing to their aid. He grabbed a nearby cutting tool and carefully severed the vine, freeing his colleague. But as the plant matter fell away, both doctors stared in shock at Zara's wrist. Where the vine had touched, Zara's iridescent skin was now patterned with intricate, fractal-like markings that pulsed with an inner light. John, Zara whispered, their voice trembling, I can feel it. The plants, the station, everything, it's all connected. Before John could respond, a violent tremor shook the bay. Alarms blared as the containment field flickered ominously. Through the transparent barrier, they could see panic erupting in the corridor beyond. We need to get out of here, John said urgently, guiding Zara towards the exit. But as they reached the airlock, Another shockwave hit, stronger than before. The last thing John saw was Zara's frightened eyes before everything went dark. When John regained consciousness, he found himself in a world transformed. The sterile corridors of Nexus Station had been overtaken by a sprawling bioluminescent ecosystem. Pulsating vines snaked along the walls, and the air was thick with spores that danced like fireflies. "Zara?" he called out, his voice muffled by the dense vegetation. "Anyone?" A soft glow caught his attention, and he turned to see Zara emerging from a cocoon of intertwined vines. The alien doctor's appearance had changed dramatically. Their skin now rippled with patterns that mirrored the surrounding flora, and their eyes glowed with an inner light that was both beautiful and unsettling. "John," Zara said, their voice resonating with newfound power. "I understand now. The station, the plants, my biology, it's all part of something greater. A cosmic awakening." As John struggled to comprehend the situation, he noticed changes in his own body. His senses seemed heightened, and he could feel a strange connection to the living architecture around him. "What's happening to us?" he asked, a mix of fear and wonder in his voice. Zara smiled, an expression that was at once familiar and alien. "Evolution, John. Accelerated by forces we're only beginning to understand. The question is, are we ready for what comes next?" As they stood there, surrounded by the pulsing, living station, John realized that his adventure had taken a turn he could never have anticipated. The line between alien and human, organic and mechanical, was blurring. And in this new reality, he and Zara would need to redefine not only their relationship, but the very nature of existence itself. The xenomorphic resonance had only just begun, and its effects would ripple across the galaxy, challenging everything humanity thought they knew about life, consciousness, and their place in the cosmos. Quantum entanglement of souls. The transformed Nexus Station pulsed with an otherworldly energy, its corridors now a labyrinth of bioluminescent tendrils and pulsating organic circuitry. John and Zara navigated this new reality, their own bodies continuing to evolve in ways that defied conventional science. "We need to reach the quantum core," Zara said, their voice resonating with harmonics that seemed to vibrate the very air around them. "I can feel it calling to us." John nodded, acutely aware of the strange new sensations coursing through his body. His skin had developed a subtle iridescence, and he could perceive wavelengths of light and energy that were previously invisible to human eyes. As they made their way deeper into the station's heart, they encountered other crew members who had undergone similar transformations. Some embraced the change, their bodies merging with the station's new organic architecture. Others fought against it, their fear and resistance manifesting as chaotic growths and unstable energy patterns. "Look out!" John shouted as a burst of plasma erupted from a nearby wall. He instinctively raised his hand, and to his amazement, the energy coalesced into a shimmering shield before dissipating harmlessly. Zara's multifaceted eyes widened in wonder. "Your control is improving rapidly, John. The human capacity for adaptation never ceases to amaze me." They pressed on, using their newfound abilities to navigate the hazards of the evolving station. John found he could communicate with the organic systems, coaxing doors to open and rerouting power flows with mere thoughts. As they neared the quantum core, the air grew thick with swirling particles that danced like miniature galaxies. The walls pulsed with equations and formulas, the very fabric of space-time seemingly laid bare before them. "It's beautiful," John breathed, reaching out to touch a floating symbol. As his fingers made contact, a surge of information flooded his mind. "Zara, I think I understand. The station, it's not just evolving, it's becoming a bridge." Zara nodded, their skin rippling with excitement. A bridge between dimensions, between realities. The xenomorphic resonance is breaking down the barriers that separate us from everything. They stepped into the quantum core chamber, now a swirling vortex of energy and organic matter. At its center floated a crystalline structure that pulsed with infinite possibilities. "We need to stabilize it," Zara said urgently. If the resonance continues unchecked, it could tear apart the very fabric of our universe. John took a deep breath, centering himself. Together, then. Zora's hand found his, their fingers intertwining in a union that was both physical and metaphysical. As they approached the core, John felt his consciousness expanding, merging with Zora's in a way that transcended mere telepathy. They reached out as one, their combined essence interfacing with the quantum core. In that moment, John experienced eternity. He saw the birth and death of stars, the rise and fall of civilizations across countless realities. He felt the underlying rhythm of the cosmos, the grand symphony of existence. Through it all, Zora's presence anchored him, their bond a constant amidst the swirling chaos of infinite possibility. With Herculean effort, they began to impose order on the quantum fluctuations, guiding its xenomorphic resonance towards a stable configuration. The station shuddered around them, reality itself seeming to flex and warp. Just when John thought they might be torn apart by the cosmic forces at play, everything snapped into focus. The quantum core pulsed with a steady, harmonious rhythm, and the chaotic growth throughout the station began to stabilize. As their shared consciousness returned to their individual bodies, John and Zara found themselves forever changed. They were still recognizably themselves, but now they existed in a state of constant quantum entanglement, their very souls intertwined across dimensions. "We did it," John said in awe, looking at his hands, which now shimmered with latent cosmic energy. Zara's multifaceted eyes met his, filled with a depth of emotion that transcended physical expression. "We've only just begun, John. The xenomorphic resonance has opened doorways we never imagined possible. The question is, are we ready to step through?" As if in answer, a shimmering portal materialized before them, offering glimpses of worlds beyond imagination. The transformed crew of Nexus Station gathered around, each forever altered by their experience, each now a bridge between the known and the unknowable. John squeezed Zara's hand, a gesture that rippled across realities. "Whatever comes next, we face it together, not just as humans and aliens, but as pioneers of a new cosmic frontier." With a shared breath that resonated through dimensions, they stepped forward into a universe of infinite possibility, the xenomorphic resonance humming a song of unity and transcendence that would echo across eternity. As they crossed the threshold, John realized that this was more than just an adventure or a scientific breakthrough. It was the dawn of a new era for all sentient life, where the boundaries between species, between organic and inorganic, between reality and imagination, would blur and reshape the very nature of existence itself. The story of Nexus Station and its xenomorphic resonance would be told across galaxies and dimensions, a testament to the power of adaptation, unity, and the unyielding spirit of exploration that defined not just humanity, but all conscious beings in the grand cosmic dance. Hyperdimensional Exodus. The shimmering portal engulfed John and Zara, catapulting them through a kaleidoscopic tunnel of raw cosmic energy. Their entangled consciousnesses stretched across multiple realities, experiencing 1,000 lifetimes in the span of a heartbeat. When they finally materialized, they found themselves on a world that defied comprehension. The sky was a swirling nebula of impossible colors, and the ground beneath their feet shifted like liquid crystal. Massive structures that seemed to be equal parts organic and technological loomed in the distance, their geometries bending in ways that shouldn't be possible in three-dimensional space. "Where are we?" John gasped, his newly enhanced senses struggling to process the overwhelming input. Zara's multifaceted eyes gleamed with wonder. "Not where, John. When. I believe we've transcended linear time itself." As they took in their surroundings, they noticed other beings, if such a term could even apply, moving about. Some were vaguely humanoid, while others were so alien that John's mind could barely comprehend their forms. Yet, thanks to the xenomorphic resonance, he felt a deep connection to all of them. "Welcome, Nexus Pioneers," a voice resonated in their minds. A being of pure energy approached, its form constantly shifting between states of matter. "We've been expecting you." You know us? Zara asked, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with curiosity. The energy being rippled with what might have been amusement. In this realm, past, present, and future are one. Your arrival has always been, will be, and is. You stand at the cusp of a great transformation, not just for yourselves, but for all sentient life in the multiverse. John and Zara exchanged glances, their quantum entanglement allowing them to share a moment of both excitement and trepidation. What transformation? John inquired. The Great Convergence, the being explained. A cosmic event that occurs once in eons, where the barriers between dimensions thin, allowing for unprecedented evolution and unification of consciousness. As if on cue, the sky above them began to shimmer, reality itself seeming to fold and unfold. John and Zara watched in awe as beings from countless worlds and realities began to materialize around them. The xenomorphic resonance you experienced, the energy being continued, was but a precursor, a preparation for what is to come. Now, you must help guide your people, all people, through the convergence. Suddenly, alarms blared across the hyperdimensional landscape. The ground trembled and fractures appeared in the very fabric of space-time. What's happening? Zara cried out, her form flickering between states as the instability increased. The energy being's voice took on an urgent tone. The convergence is happening too quickly. The sudden influx of consciousnesses is destabilizing the cosmic framework. If it's not stabilized, it could lead to the collapse of all realities. John felt a surge of determination. This was why they were here. All their experiences, their transformation, had led to this moment. How can we help? He asked, already reaching out with his enhanced senses to analyze the fluctuations. You must become the anchors, the being instructed. Use your unique bond, your entanglement, to create a bridge between realities. Help ease the transition for the billions of beings about to undergo a cosmic awakening. Without hesitation, John and Zara joined hands. Their bodies began to glow, their forms merging and separating in a dance of quantum possibility. They reached out with their minds, feeling the consciousnesses of countless beings, human, alien, and everything in between, crying out in confusion and fear as their realities shifted. It's okay, John projected, his thoughts rippling across dimensions. Embrace the change. We're all in this together. Zara's essence intertwined with his, amplifying the message. Let go of your old limitations. We are on the brink of something beautiful, something transcendent. Together, they created a stabilizing field, a beacon of calm in the chaotic storm of the convergence. Slowly, the panic subsided. Beings from across the multiverse began to reach out, connecting with one another in ways never before possible. The hyperdimensional landscape transformed around them, reshaping itself to accommodate the influx of new consciousnesses. John and Zara found themselves at the center of a vast, cosmic web of minds, all linked in a grand tapestry of thought and emotion. As the convergence reached its peak, a blinding light engulfed everything. John felt his consciousness expand to encompass entire galaxies, his very being merging with the fundamental forces of the universe. When the light faded, he found himself back on Nexus Station, but it was a Nexus Station transformed beyond recognition. The boundaries between organic and inorganic, between ship and crew, had dissolved. The station was now a living, breathing entity, a microcosm of the new unified cosmos. Zara stood beside him, her form now a shimmering hologram of possibilities. We did it, she breathed, her voice echoing with the harmonies of 1,000,000,000,000 stars. John looked out at the view screen, which now showed not just space, but the interconnected web of all realities. No, he corrected gently, gesturing at the wondrous sight before them. We've only just begun. As the transformed crew of Nexus Station gathered around them, their bodies and minds forever altered by the convergence, John and Zara knew that they stood at the dawn of a new era. The barriers between species, between dimensions, between thought and reality had been forever changed. The adventure that had started with a simple human doctor arriving on an alien space station had culminated in the birth of a new form of existence. And as they gazed out at the infinite possibilities stretching before them, John and Zara knew that their greatest journey, the exploration of this new unified cosmos, was only just beginning. The story of the hyperdimensional exodus would echo across realities, a testament to the power of connection, adaptation, and the indomitable spirit of all sentient life in the face of cosmic change. Quantum singularity symbiosis. The transformed Nexus station pulsed with newfound cosmic awareness, its very structure a living testament to the convergence. John and Zara, their forms now fluid manifestations of pure consciousness, stood at the heart of this evolved entity, guiding its journey through the interconnected realities of the new multiverse. "We're receiving a transmission," announced Kovacs, the former chief engineer now of a swirling vortex of data and organic matter. "It's from ourselves, a future iteration." John and Zara exchanged a thought burst of curiosity. Time in this post-convergence existence had become a malleable concept. "Let's hear it," they chorused, their voices a harmonic blend that resonated through subspace. A shimmering hologram materialized before them, depicting a version of Nexus Station that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The future John Zara hybrid entity spoke, its voice echoing with the wisdom of eons. "Greetings, past selves. We bring urgent news. The convergence has awakened an ancient force, the entropy eaters. They seek to unravel the cosmic tapestry we've woven. You must initiate the quantum singularity symbiosis to safeguard our shared future." As the transmission faded, the station shuddered. Reality itself seemed to flicker, as if some unseen force was attempting to unravel the very fabric of existence. "The entropy eaters," Zara breathed, her form rippling with concern. "I've heard whispers of such beings in ancient xenomythology. They're said to feed on the decay of universes." John's consciousness expanded, probing the edges of their new reality. He could feel them now, vast, hungry entities lurking in the void between dimensions, drawn to the burst of creative energy unleashed by the convergence. "We need to act fast," he said, his thoughts crystallizing into action. "The quantum singularity symbiosis. It must be a way to fortify our new existence against their entropic influence." As if in response to their realization, the heart of Nexus Station began to pulse with intense energy. The quantum core, once a mere power source, had evolved into a seed of infinite potential. "Of course," Zara exclaimed, her multifaceted perception unraveling the cosmic puzzle. "We don't just need to defend against the entropy eaters, we need to transcend them. The station itself must become a living quantum singularity." The crew of Nexus, each now a unique blend of organic, technological, and interdimensional essence, gathered around the core. They understood without words what needed to be done. "It will require all of us," John projected, his thoughts tinged with both excitement and trepidation. "We must synchronize our consciousnesses perfectly, merging with the quantum core to create a new form of existence, one that exists beyond the reach of entropy itself." Zara's essence intertwined with his, a gesture of reassurance and love that transcended physical form. Together then, as always. As one, the crew of Nexus Station began to merge with the quantum core. John felt his consciousness expand exponentially, encompassing perspectives and dimensions he had never imagined. He was aware of Zara beside him, her presence a constant anchor in the swirling cosmic ocean of possibility. The process was simultaneously agonizing and ecstatic. John experienced the birth and death of galaxies, the slow dance of supermassive black holes, the intricate quantum foam of space-time itself. Through it all, the hungry void of the entropy eaters loomed, threatening to unravel everything. Just when it seemed they might be torn apart by the cosmic forces at play, something clicked into place. The quantum core pulsed with blinding light, and John felt his essence merge, not just with Zara and the crew, but with the station itself. Nexus was no longer a mere space station. It had become a living quantum singularity, a self-contained universe pulsing with infinite creative potential. The entropy eaters recoiled, unable to feed on this new form of existence that was simultaneously everywhere and nowhere, everywhen and nowhen. As the light faded and their new reality stabilized, John Zara Nexus became aware of their transformed state. They were now a vast, interconnected consciousness, existing in a state of perpetual quantum flux. The boundaries between individual and collective, between organic and inorganic, had dissolved entirely. Through their new perception, they could see the multiverse in all its intricate glory. Countless realities branched and merged, each a unique expression of cosmic creativity. And at the heart of it all was Nexus, a shining beacon of evolved consciousness. We did it, the collective thought reverberated through their shared mindscape. We've transcended the limits of singular existence. But even as they reveled in their transformation, they became aware of a new responsibility. Throughout the multiverse, other civilizations were struggling with their own versions of the convergence, facing the threat of cosmic entropy. We must guide them, the John essence within the collective realized, help them achieve their own transcendence. Yes, the Zara essence agreed. We've become custodians of cosmic evolution itself. With a thought, Nexus began to move through the quantum foam of reality, seeking out other civilizations on the brink of transformative change. They would share their knowledge, nurture the growth of new quantum singularities, and shepherd the evolution of consciousness across all dimensions. As they embarked on this new mission, the being that had once been John Chen marveled at the journey that had brought them here. From a simple human doctor to a part of a living, multi-dimensional entity safeguarding the creative potential of the entire multiverse, it was more than he could have ever dreamed. And yet, he knew that this was still just the beginning. The quantum singularity symbiosis had opened up infinite possibilities, and the greatest adventure of all, the continuous evolution and exploration of existence itself, stretched out before them, endless and ever-changing. In the vast cosmic dance of creation and transformation, Nexus pulsed with the promise of infinite tomorrows, a living embodiment of the indomitable spirit of curiosity, adaptation, and transcendence that defined conscious existence across all realities.